There is nothing more weird, nothing more confusing, nothing more unforgiving than the Great British weather. Seriously, it is neither sunny nor rainy, it's just really dark cloud that makes you feel like it's going to rain at some point, but it keeps holding you on, keeps pushing you back, thinking, oh, it's going to rain in a minute, it'll thrash it down so I can't go outside and do anything. But this all afternoon, it's been dismal sky. It's just so depressing. Something that isn't depressing though is the most amazing tweet that J.K. Rowling, our saviour, sent this on a big Tuesday, would have been on the 1st September. Hopefully a fair few of you figured out why it was an important date, but me, I just completely glazed over it until she mentioned this important fact. I'm in Edinburgh, so could somebody at King's Cross wish James S. Potter good luck for me? He's starting at Hogwarts today. Hashtag back to Hogwarts. Suddenly, a normal average day turned into a Harry Potter themed day. Just completely out of the blue. Just when you think the fandom has nothing more to offer you, this happens and everyone goes into crazy emotional nostalgia overload. That's the only way to describe it, really. Seriously, it's just great to imagine that he could be down there at King's Cross right now, getting ready for his first day at school, just all the excitement building up, which is hopefully what you felt as well if you went back to school recently. That sort of thing as well is a great example of the beauty of the internet, of what it can do, the connections, you know, that sort of thing. What's not so good though is when the internet interrupts what would otherwise be a rather peaceful and relaxing holiday. Let me explain. There is nowhere in the UK that has more of an established identity as the Lake District. You have to admit it, even if you're from Yorkshire, the Lake District just tops it. It's just that breathtaking landscape. Just thinking about it makes you go, ah. A sort of enthusiasm, a sense of wonder. I mean, even if you've not been there before, you know just from hearing the word Lake District that, you know, you imagine somewhere peaceful, somewhere idyllic. And it does seem to exist within its own framework away from the rest of the UK, even though it is just tucked away in a little corner of the northwest just off the motorway. And while the sense of isolation may be a bit daunting for some people, for me, that's what creates a perfect holiday. Basically last year my parents went for a week up there to a place called Coniston, which is a lovely little peaceful mining village surrounded by the lake that gives the town its name. And I didn't really go last year because I was meant to be going, but I got into an internship at an amazing radio station called Amazing Radio, funnily enough, up in Newcastle. So I only went for a weekend, but this year they loved it so much they decided to go back there. And I just thought, I've got to go this time, this is it, a proper rural retreat. Seriously, it was the first week in a long time where I had nothing of any major importance to do. And when you're always busy with stuff, you forget the importance of doing nothing, of just switching off for a bit, and that was just perfect. It's fair to say the area is bursting with pride for its local heritage. Personal favourite for me would be Hilltop, which is Beatrix Potter's country cottage. It's just really cosy and quaint, but full of character as well, and I love the fact that she used it as a setting for several of her stories. It's a tiny cottage as well, but given the number of tourists that were queuing up just to peek inside this place, you'd think it was a palace of some kind. We also decided to venture out to a town called Cockermouth, don't laugh, to visit William Wordsworth's childhood home. That, in contrast, was really majestic and gave quite an interesting insight into life in the 1770s, which of course I can only imagine. I mean, thinking about it though, you've got to wonder about how much of an impact a childhood home like that would have on the work of William Wordsworth, because obviously it was a few years later before he started doing his poetry. But at the same time, it's good to have a look around it. There's a part of me that's always very envious of these places and harbours a small ambition that one day I would be a famous enough writer or something or other to have my house left to National Trust. That would be a mark on my legacy, hands down. Dad, we really want this place. Sorry guys, I'm sorry, but it's got to go to National Trust. Just how it is. But you can't go to the Lake District without spending most of your time walking around. I mean, it's the perfect way to take in the scenery, just one step at a time, really slowly. Even after you've been there a few days and you're getting used to it, it still leaves an impact, even when you're just gasping at sheep that are walking along ridges that are really precarious and defy all health and safety standards. And it's the breathtaking views as you walk through valleys and over hills and mountains. Well, English mountains, which aren't as impressive as real mountains, but you know what I mean. Obviously you get the best views at the top, but without a doubt the highlight for me was this lovely relaxing walk through the Great Langdale Valley, for the one simple reason that as we started to get through the valley, my phone signal just cut out completely. No Wi-Fi, no 3G, not even a few bars on my phone. It just all went, just no service for a good couple of hours. And it was just so liberating. Weirdly, I felt more alone than I usually do, more free, you know, and it was a really nice feeling. Honestly, didn't expect it. The thing is, as more and more of us get more immersed into social media and it continues to thrive and there's all kinds of new platforms emerging. I mean, there's now a thing called Periscope, Haven't heard of that? Give a look at that. It's crazy. And we do more and more of these things, and the more you do it, the more it feels like you're never fully immersed in what you're actually doing right there and then, if you're always checking to see what everyone else is doing, if that makes sense. Sure, you might want to share whatever it is you're doing with someone else, but can it really be that good if you can take a minute, just quickly get your phone out, add a filter to it and upload it to some sort of site? Yeah, I mean, if you really have enough time, enough motivation to take your eyes off it and check your phone, it can't be that good, can it? I mean, when my phone cut out, it felt like, I don't know, I was free of a burden, I felt more relaxed. I mean, we can't imagine lives without mobile phones anymore, but just turning it off for a bit, no, it feels quite good actually. I don't know, maybe I'm exaggerating the problem a little bit, but there was a recent example that made me feel like I'm not the only one who thinks this. There's a brilliant band called Foals who recently released their new album, What Went Down. It's their 4th album now, and we did a little showcase in a venue in London in Shoreditch called the Village Underground. And as well as it being balloted, you had to apply for tickets. There was a strict no mobile phone policy. Like seriously, a complete clamp down on them. If you bought one with you, you had to surrender it on the door and you get it back at the end from the box office. And you'd think they might have been like a bit flexible here and there, but no, if anyone got their phone out during the show, bouncers were in there swooping on them. It was crazy. It's not so much encouraging fans to focus on the moment at hand as laying down the law and saying, look, this is how we feel about this. Put your phones away. But honestly, I think this could be a great solution. I mean, I was watching a stream of a set by a DJ called Disclosure, or Duo anyway, and they're performing in Ibiza, and the whole crowd was just motionless and just on their phones. Just rigid, just standing there, maybe do a quick photo, and not dancing along at all. And it was quite depressing watching it, thinking, does it really come to this, that people can perform sets and just nothing happens? And why should it be that way for music shows, like for gigs and concerts? You wouldn't go to a West End show and do a selfie with an actor in the background. This wouldn't make sense, and illegal for one thing as well. I'm not being some kind of social media snob either. I love sharing things on Twitter in 140 characters or less and adding filters to photos on Instagram as much as the next social media addict. After all, there's loads of us who treat the Lake District as a paradise for walkers, but it's also a great opportunity for selfie fodder. You just gotta choose the right moment and never underestimate the freedom of switching off your phone. I mean, sometimes when the parents say they don't understand it, our obsession with mobile phones, sometimes they're not necessarily talking about the technological aspect of it. Sometimes they just, you know, think about it a bit more. Anyway, this is something I've been thinking about recently, you know, I just want to get off my chest, but hope you guys are all well, and I promise there is new stuff coming soon. I have had a few more issues with Harry Potter. I've still not been able to play the PC games without the blooming glitches and the bugs coming up, which is hardly surprising given my machine is now, I think it's Windows 8.1, and the games are made for like 2000 or XP at the latest. Yeah, I've tried now Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, no luck at all really. I've tried reinstalling them, I've tried different resolutions, different, you know, graphics, and yeah, nothing's worked so far. So I might have to call time on that one. But there will be something else coming soon, I promise. Take it easy and I'll see you on the other side. Been a while, happy July, happy halfway through the year, just happy, happy, happy. So there were 2 major important events in June that took up quite a bit of my time.